Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is United Way Day. We are on the Zooms with Andy Gale, CEO of United Way, Northern Shenandoah Valley. Andy's got a guest with him for the first part of our show today. Pam Haefner is joining us. She is the executive director at the Yellow Schoolhouse. You may remember Pam from back in January. She is part of the Top of Virginia Regional Chamber's Community Leadership Program. So she got a minute or two on the show with us when we recorded that show at the Handling Regional Library back in January. But Pam, I'm excited to get to speak to you for at least 8 more minutes than we did the first time around.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Pam, tell us a little bit about the Yellow Schoolhouse. You didn't have much time to really get in the weeds when we talked back in January. What kind of organization is it? Who do you serve? Give me some of the background.
So the Yellow Schoolhouse started actually in Loudoun County back in about 2016. We became a nonprofit in 2018. But the reason it got started is a friend of mine and I were talking after her second baby about the challenges of parenting and the idea that there aren't enough supports around for parents, and parents are feeling isolated and overwhelmed, and it's a really tough job. It's probably the only job that you take on that has zero training before you take it on. I remember when my husband and I had our first son and we're in the hospital and we looked at each other and we're like, they're letting us just take them? Like, with no prep other than here's how you diaper. So it is a daunting process and not a lot of pre-job training, I guess.
There's no manual.
There's tons of books, but they all compete against each other, right? Should I sleep with my child or not? You can find books on both. Should I send my children to daycare or stay at home? Every big decision a parent has to make, you could find conflicting pieces of information. So it's a difficult job, probably the hardest job I've ever done.
And so how does your organization step in to help those parents?
When we looked at that, we said we need to create a resource for families so that they can find connection, they can find information, they can feel a sense of community with other people that are in the weeds with them. So we developed initially the Baby Buzz, which was a one-day parenting event. Think of it as a parenting conference. And we did that for 5 years in a row in Loudoun County. And then COVID hit. And my husband and I moved our home, our business, and the nonprofit out to Winchester. Quite frankly, the best place I've ever lived. And at that time, it seemed to me that this was more than a one-day event. This is something that families could benefit from all the time. So provide those resources of connection and education on a regular basis. So think about it as a resource center for parents with children 5 and under.
How did you come up with the name Yellow Schoolhouse? You're not living in a yellow schoolhouse, are you?
I am not. I've had this dream for 20 years or even more, probably 30 years. And in my mind, it's always been a yellow house that's home and welcoming and has a front porch and a yard and just another home for families to come to. And it's always been yellow in my mind. I don't know why. Maybe because it's my favorite color. I know yours is orange. Mine is yellow, and that's always the name I've had.
What kinds of resources do you have? How does it work?
So right now we provide 3 programs. The first one is a mom's group. It's in person. It's in Winchester. It's from 11 to 12. It's every Wednesday from 11 to 12. Moms can come and talk about the struggle, what a big change this is, because it's the biggest life-altering events that people go through. And then the second program is a play group, which you bring your children to play. And while they're playing and interacting with other kids, you are able to talk to other parents about the struggles you might be having, whether that be potty training or is my child moving enough? They don't seem to be walking yet. And we bring on other professionals into the group that can answer those questions. We had somebody that was really interested in how do I introduce food to my child who's transitioning off of a bottle or breastfeeding. So we brought in a nutritionist to talk about introducing food and the proper kinds of food and how to go about that. So we really based our presenters on what the parents are bringing to the group to ask about. And then the third program is the Baby Buzz, which is still that annual event. So even though we changed the name to the Yellow Schoolhouse, we still do the annual Baby Buzz event. This is our 3rd year of doing it here in Winchester. It is coming up on March 28th from 9:30 to 2. at the Douglas Community Learning Center on North Kent. It is a free event to all families with children 5 and under, and if you're expecting. We have 9 speakers, 30 vendors, free barbecue lunch that Bonnie Blue provides. We have the fire truck coming during lunch. Kids can climb on it. One year they were able to spray the hose. We have the chief of police joining us to talk with kids about safety, and Sheriff Sales will be on board, and lots of speakers about anything raising your child up to the age of 5.
I love that
So,
you allow the parents to bring their children to that event, because sometimes you have those events and it's for the adults only, which then brings its own set of problems because parents have to find daycare or a sitter, those kinds of things. I love that you incorporate the kids right into the conference.
yep, there's little activities throughout, meaning the different vendors like Discovery Toys will have some of their things there. And then during lunch, there's lots of activities going on.
Even though there's no cost to attend, do they need to register in advance?
They don't have to. We do have same day that you can just walk in. It helps us out if they register in advance so we can get a sense of numbers ahead of time, but you don't have to. But if you do want to register or find out more about the speakers, more about some of the vendors that are going to be there, we have a schedule of events. So say you can't come all day, you might want to say, which part of the day do I want to focus on based on who's speaking? So if you go to yellowschoolhouse.org, don't put the in front of it, just yellowschoolhouse.org, and go to the events page. You'll see the information about the event. We have some great sponsors: Walmart, F&M Bank, Bank of Clark, Little Communicators, and Bonnie Blue. Like I said, it is just a day packed full of information and energy and camaraderie, and that's what we're about: information and connection.
Is there a fee or a cost to attend the other two programs that you have? How do they work?
Nope, there is no fee to any of it. We primarily have volunteers that come in to do the presentations or do the groups, so it's free to all families.
And you are a 501c3. You are an actual nonprofit, which is why so
We
much of this
are.
stuff happens at no cost. But I'm sure that it's not at no cost to you. So I'm guessing donations, and I'm guessing you would love to have grandmas volunteer because they've got some of the
Absolutely.
best advice ever.
Yep, it's through volunteers, it's through generous donations in our community. It's through just somebody comes to the group and maybe puts a $5 or $10 into it. They don't have to, but if they want to give a donation so that we can keep these programs going, we're just working to keep the doors open at no cost, because we want to make sure that every family is able to find this connection, not just if they can pay for it.
And that's important because there are so many families in our community that are living on the margins, and it's very difficult for them to find those resources. And then if they do find them and they have to pay for them, that almost makes the resource not as useful because they don't really have access to it. It sounds like you've checked all those boxes.
We're trying. The only box that, well, there's a couple boxes. Our programs right now are primarily during the day. We know that working parents also want to find connection and education and information. And so we're trying to create more programming that might be in the evenings or on the weekends. We're trying to cover every aspect of parenting. And that's what the donations and the grants and that will bring us, is the ability to bring more programming to the community.
People can go to yellowschoolhouse.org and get all of the details for the Baby Buzz event. But I'm guessing you also have details about those other programs that they can get in the weeds on as well.
Yes, the playgroup and the moms group are on that as well.
Are you
Indeed.
on social media? Can they find you on Facebook, for example?
Yep, Facebook and Instagram, Yellow Schoolhouse Winchester.
Pam, thank you for taking some time today to chat with me. I do appreciate it. I hope you have a lot of buzz going on the 28th
Thank
when you
you
have your
so
event.
much. I do as well. And if people would share it, that's the best way to make this the greatest event it can be, is for people to share it on their socials and share it with friends at the coffee shop and wherever you are out with your friends hanging out. Share it so more people know about it.
We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Andy Gale's going to give us an update on what's happening at United Way, Northern Shenandoah Valley. So hang in there with us just a couple of more minutes.
United Way of the Northern Shenandoah Valley is inviting nonprofits to help map the region's nonprofit safety net. If your organization serves Winchester City, Frederick, Clark, Warren, Shenandoah, or Page counties, we encourage you to take our regional nonprofit survey. The information collected will help identify gaps, support collaboration, and inform community leaders and funders. The survey takes about 30 minutes and is available at unitedwaynsv.org.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. It is United Way Day. We are on the Zooms with Andy Gale, CEO of United Way Northern Shenandoah Valley. Pam Haefner joined us in the first segment. She's the executive director at Yellow Schoolhouse. Andy gave up the first half of his show because he's just such a generous guy.
Some days.
Pam had been trying to get a slot on the show, and I just didn't have one. And so you and I were talking about it, and you said, why don't I just give her half of my show? And that way she has time to promote her Baby Buzz event. And it all worked out. So thank you for doing that.
And it's one that we've been partnering with, the Campaign for Grade Level Reading that you guys have heard me talk about before. She's a partner. She's been involved there. We've been supportive of the Baby Bus since it's come to Winchester. So it's been really neat to see that grow and see unique opportunities and educational things that the Yellow Schoolhouse can provide with their partners. I know they work with Healthy Families and the library and a bunch of things like that. So it's really looking at the great ways to get those that birth to 5, get those kids ready to go and ready for school and prepared. So it's really an investment in the way yonder future.
There are probably a lot of people that do not understand or know that United Way as a whole, United Way worldwide, operates under different pillars. I think sometimes people think of us as this umbrella organization, but really we're more like a canopy because we have these pillars that hold up said umbrella. And education, early childhood education, is one of those pillars. It's very important that we get to these kids early so that they may not need the other services that our other pillars represent as they get older and later in life.
Exactly. So we've always had pillars at United Way. Usually it was education, health, and financial stability. United Way Worldwide went through a lot of adjustment and research and looking at really what communities needed. And they realized that it was youth opportunity. So instead of education, it's now youth opportunity focused on early childhood education, literacy, things like that for those little kids, and workforce for slightly older kids. We still have the health pillar. Financial stability is really basic needs now. And then the newest pillar is community resilience that we've talked about in the show, making sure that this community safety net is there, that the communities can thrive.
How does what Pam is doing fall under those pillars? That's a big pillar. That's a pretty broad pillar.
It is. So they're broad. I think we break it down. Each United Way is different. So our focus really is the Campaign for Grade Level Reading that we are the sort of backbone hosts for. And that's focused on getting kids reading by 3rd grade. So that 3rd grade point is where kids stop learning to read and start reading to learn. There's a lot of research and education and understanding that that's the point where kids pivot. And if they're not on track, it's going to be an uphill battle for them. But if they are on track, it's smooth sailing to college and giving back to the community and on-time graduation and things like that. So we're really focused there and looking at birth to 5 and getting kids ready. So it's all that stuff preschool. I think a lot of people have seen on socials, and the Star did an article, the Hanley Library is now a family place library. So the family place library is an accreditation that libraries can get where they really re-look at what the library can be. We're really lucky to have Hanley and the trust and have the library do so many great things. They've now doubled down and are committed to helping families, helping kids, and being that second place that families and kids can come to healthy, happy, learn, help parenting classes, have enrichment for kids of all ages, and really focus on ensuring that the community has options to ensure early education. So that's what they're doing. Pam's doing similar stuff for the parents, because trust me, you've done it. I have not. I have a dog that I'm freaked out about that he's not doing the right things. And I can't imagine a kid. There's no manual. So having that resource with Pam's groups, where, yes, she runs the Yellow School Up. She's also a social worker and a psychologist and therapist. And I've met with some of the moms that she works with, and it's a really great, caring group that's really ensuring that the kids in our region have that great start, but the parents also have the support.
And that's a really good point because we do hear a lot from the different organizations that serve that child age 0 to 5. And we talk about what those kids need. And sometimes we gloss over the fact that it's the parent's responsibility. And sometimes they may know what that child needs, but they have no idea how to go about getting their child to read more. All of the tips and the tricks and things that other parents have learned along the way, or the Yellow Schoolhouse provides through those programs, are so beneficial to the parents that ultimately filter down to the children. I think sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle.
It does. It's really, like I said earlier, it's an investment in the future. It's ensuring that the kids grow up ready to go. They're supportive. They're in school. They're really ready to learn, because we know we're big partners with Winchester Public Schools and support all the schools across our catchment for United Way. But the teachers are the best ones. They're the ones that once the kids get there, really can help them make a difference. But can we get the kids that right start so that they're ready to go? They're ready to learn. They have the tools. They've been exposed to words. There's reading, there's books in the home, things like that. So we have lots of partners with the campaign for grade level reading. Lots of partners in the community that we support through early options of education, things like that. Our partnership with United Way Charlottesville, doing the Ready region work here. You're soon to see some coordinated enrollment, so it makes it easier for parents to get on a list for getting into quality preschools. You'll see more and more of that coming. It'll probably be a show, so sneak peek for another United Way show. But we're excited to see and really putting focus and investment in that youth opportunity, but then also workforce. So ensuring that kids and people can get a job and support themselves. That really leads into the basic needs. That if you don't have the basic needs, you don't have housing, you're not going to be healthy. So really it's this snowball. We've gone so far upstream where it's a spring, where it's the water's bubbling up out of the ground. It's not the raging river down trying to save someone from drowning. It's, hey, look, let's make sure that the spring is pure. We can keep it going.
And that's what makes it really great about United Way and those pillars that we talked about earlier. Because if someone is listening and they think, I really want to be able to support either the parents or the children themselves, 0 to age 5, they don't necessarily have to go out then and research who are the organizations that are doing the things. They can donate to United Way and designate it to go into that pillar. And that filters out through the impact grants that we do every year.
It does. I always say to people when they're asking why give to United Way when I can give direct, well, say you want to give direct. So now you want to support all the youth opportunity in our area. You're giving to 15, 20 different nonprofits across our Northern Shenandoah Valley. You could also just give to us. We'll do the background work. We'll couple your gift with so many others and make the larger impact. We want to maximize the impact.
So where can people go to do that?
So you can go to United Way NSV, Northern Shenandoah Valley.org. If you want to learn about the campaign for grade level reading, we have a separate website there. That's just Winchester CGLR, so campaign for grade level reading.com. That you'll see all our programs, our partners, our Leendo Juntos program, which is everyone reading together. It's a program to working with multicultural families to ensure that they have access to reading as well. Ori Largent, who runs that for us, is a Spitfire. She just called me the other day, hey, I applied for this grant to get free books. They've showed up. So now we have a full bookshelf for her to give out at the laundromat, reading circles, things like that as well. So it's been pretty exciting times looking at our youth opportunity pillar for United Way.
We need to get her on a future show as well.
We do. It should be great.
Thank you for giving up the first half of your show to Pam today and then tying it all back in, which I think, again, is critical for people who are so disjointed and all of the need that's out there. This is a great way for them to be able to see it all and help in one way give to multiple people.
Definitely. We're here to help. If people want to learn more, please reach out. I'm available. You can email me, agale@unitedwaynsv.org, or I'm out and about. Just come up, say hi. I might even have Max with me. You never know where we'll be, what we'll be working on.
I will be back on Monday with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, a few minutes after noon. So meet me here then.